Today I'm going to show how to install a Sxth Element front mount intercooler. Begin the install by raising the car using a floor jack, quick jack, or lift. Once the car is off the ground, you'll need to remove the front engine splash shield. To do this, you'll need to remove 12 plastic push pins and 7 10mm bolts. After the splash shield has been removed, you'll need to remove the front bumper. To do this, you'll need to remove 3 plastic push pins and 1 10mm bolt in each front fender. Next, you need to remove 4 10mm bolts located in the engine bay holding the top of the bumper in place. After this is done, you can pry the bumper off the car. I would suggest starting at each wheel well. Also, it would be helpful to have a second person's help to avoid damaging the bumper. Now that the bumper is off the car, you need to remove the factory intercooler's plastic shroud. This can be done by removing the small wire harness that's clipped into place by 2 plastic clips and 2 10mm bolts. We are now ready to begin removing the factory intercooler, but before we begin, it's a good idea to unhook the battery's ground wire. After the ground wire has been unhooked, you'll need to remove whatever intake you have installed in your car. In this video, I will be removing my Forge Motorsport's intake. I will have a link to my previous Forge intake install video which shows how to remove the factory intake. Once the intake has been removed, you will have access to the charge pipe. Before I remove the charge pipe, I move back underneath the car and detach the charge pipe from the intercooler. The charge pipe is held into place by 2 12mm bolts. Note, some of the clamps on the pipes will have small metal covers that must be removed before they can be unscrewed. You can remove them using a small flathead screwdriver or pair of pliers. After the charge pipe was off the intercooler, I removed the hot pipe located on the passenger side. There are 2 clamps to loosen and 1 bolt to unscrew. Once done, the pipe can be removed from the car as one unit. Now that everything has been disconnected from the intercooler, you can remove it by unscrewing the 4 10mm bolts holding it in place and then simply pull the intercooler off the car. With the intercooler removed, you can remove the charge pipe. To do this, unscrew the top clamp, disconnect the oxygen sensor plug and solenoid vacuum hose, and then you can pull the pipe out of the engine bay. Having the pipe off the car will make attaching the new silicone pipe easier. Now it's time to begin installing the new intercooler. I started by attaching the long S-shaped silicone pipe to the bottom of the factory charge pipe. You will use the larger clamps included in the kit for this pipe. After the new piping has been installed, you can reattach the charge pipe to the engine. Now that the charge pipe is done, you can move over to the hot pipe. You will not reuse any of the parts from the factory hot pipe. The new hot pipe consists of 3 pieces, 2 silicone and 1 carbon fiber pipe. You will use the 3 large clamps and 1 smaller 62mm clamp for this pipe. The smaller clamp attaches to the factory pipe going to the turbo. The 45-degree angled silicone pipe goes to the front and the 90-degree pipe goes to the back of the pipe. Sxth has reinforced the carbon fiber pipe with metal inserts to prevent cracking from over-tightening, but you still need to be aware to be careful when tightening the clamps on the carbon fiber pipe. After the hot pipe has been installed, you're ready to install the intercooler onto the car. The metal bracket that holds the small wire harness in place will get in the way of installing the intercooler, so I bent the metal bracket up to get it out of the way. This will make the installation process easier. The intercooler is held into place using the same 4 10mm factory bolts. After the intercooler has been secured to the car, you can bend the small metal bracket back down into its original position. Now that the intercooler has been installed, you can attach the charge pipe and hot pipe to the intercooler. Once done, check all your clamps to make sure they are properly tightened to avoid any leaks. After the clamps have all been checked, you can reinstall the intake, bumper, splash shield, and finally the battery's negative wire. Again, I would suggest having someone help with the reattaching of the bumper to help avoid any damage that may occur. Make sure the bumper is properly aligned around the headlights before locking it into place. This concludes the installation of the Sxth Element intercooler. You are now ready to enjoy a cooler driving experience. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.